When I kept telling you that the Knicks always find the way to win, I goddamn meant it! And I'll admit, I was a little bit nervous about this game 5 because it really felt like after being blown out in game 4, I really started to wonder, like, is this where the wheels fall off for the Knicks? Because naturally everything has its breaking point, and it's not just Bogdanovich, Mitch, Randall, but like now you're losing OG, who I think is one of the most valuable role players in the league. Your best guy, your offensive engine, Jalen Brunson, hasn't looked good over these last 2 games with the sore foot. So like, just is it time? Like, is this where things come to an end for this team? You can only fight for so long, and like, to not only win, but to win by 30. I mean, this team, like, so let's start with the obvious. Jalen Brunson's still really, really good. Foot didn't seem to bother him at all last night. 44 points, just torching everyone. You think Aaron Nesmith is Brunson's stopper? No. TJ McConnell? No. Nobody can stop him. So it was really encouraging to see him just dominate in the ways we always have, where it seems like that sore foot is maybe behind him, which was a big concern because if nothing else, he wasn't going to have the time to heal from that sore foot. Although what's really encouraging now is that there's going to be an extra day in between games 5 and 6. So he's going to have a bit more time to rest up that foot. And you know, credit to Tibbs for making the decision to insert Miles McBride into the starting lineup. I don't know why I call him Miles, it's Juice McBride. To defend Halliburton, who had a really quiet game. Like, that was such a great move because I think, you know, whatever size you give up in guarding, let's say, a Pascal Siakam, you definitely gain an edge in defense on Tyrese Halliburton. Like, Halliburton's the head of the snake, and you cut that off, you have a really good chance of winning, especially considering how he's the engine of just setting everyone else up. So if you can limit that guy, it really cuts off a lot of whatever else Indiana wants to do. Alec Burks deserves so much. Alec Burks really deserves all of our praises because he comes over back to New York in a trade. He struggles out the gate, gets moved, gets benched, you know, becomes a bench warmer, and then steps in game 3 and has averaged 17 a game over his last 3, scored 18 points last night on 6 of 11 shooting. Like, just, you want to talk about a professional guy staying ready? Like, Alec Burks, just so much credit to him. But what I also want to give credit to is Isaiah Hartenstein, and he might be the MVP of the game because one of the things he came out and said after the game 4 blowout loss was like, that wasn't us. Like, we did not give the effort and the energy that us fans are accustomed to, and like, he like literally apologized for it. And he, more than everyone else, came out and also like the Knicks as a whole really just came out and set the tone. They set the tone that they wanted to set of physical, grinded out basketball where, you know, Hartenstein winds up with 12 offensive rebounds. 12 offensive rebounds. He was relentless. It didn't matter that he was the only big out there. He was relentless on the glass. And I give so much credit to him, but also just the entire team where you saw Donte DiVincenzo get into it with so many guys on Indiana. You saw Hartenstein get into it with, I think it was Isaiah Jackson. DiVincenzo fought with Jackson, McConnell, Turner, like the entire Pacers roster. And it was so awesome to see because you really saw the Knicks dictate the style of this game, whereas Indiana really got out in transition and was spraying threes all over the court in game 4 blowout. The Knicks were really able to dictate tone and tempo, and even when Indiana tried to match them, you could tell Indiana was trying to play their game. New York was like DiVincenzo and Hartenstein were like, nah, this isn't what you guys do. I think Donte literally came out and said they tried to do that, and that's not what they do. And just ultimate credit to those guys for setting the tone, and I hope it's something they could do in game 6 in Indiana, which is going to be really tough because it's a hostile environment. But just, I mean, I've said it so many times, but the resiliency of this squad is so special, and it felt particularly special. There's always a reason it's special in every game. I feel like I say this after every Knicks game. It was special for this reason, it was special for that reason, but I think it was really special because I feel like this was the first time New York really got punched in the mouth. They've obviously lost games. They lost game 3 to Philly, was blowout, lost game 5, but this was the first time it really felt like I said at the top, like I really felt like, oh, this might be the end, where you get absolutely decked in game 4 in a blowout fashion where like it wasn't even close. But then there's also these other signs of how things might be deteriorating, where it's Brunson's foot and OG is out, where it really felt like, oh, this might be the end. And so to not only follow that up immediately with not just a win, but a blowout win in convincing fashion, where you dictate literally everything that goes on in this game. You dictate tempo, you dictate how you want to play. The fact that they were able to set that tone and that mentality, and it permeated throughout the game, was just, again, it speaks to everything the Knicks are about, just how they're able to, you know, implement their culture and their mentality on every game, and to do that under these circumstances in a pivotal game 5 where it's tied at 2 and momentum is on Indiana's side, and you have every reason to sort of bow out and say, hey, like, this is just where things end because we just don't have, the manpower anymore. Like, just standing ovation. It was beautiful, and let's go get game 6.